Hello everybody, welcome. Today we are going to go over systems of equations by substitution. I'm going to go over questions 1 and 2. If you want to go ahead and copy these problems, and then we're going to get started. So our first goal is to take a look at our two equations and look at which one has a variable that is isolated or a variable by itself. If we're taking a look at question 1, the top equation has y equals all by itself, and that's really great. That's what we want when we're using substitution. This is really blurry, so let me rewrite this. This is y equals negative 2x minus 3, and then the bottom one is negative 8x minus 6y is equal to 6, okay? All right. So now that we have our top equation has a y equals, the y is the one that's isolated. What we want is to replace the y in the second equation with what it is equal to. Okay? Something I like to do a lot when I'm solving these problems is the equation that's not isolated. We're going to recopy it. But the place with the variable that I'm going to replace, I'm just going to put a parentheses and leave it blank. And then just copy the rest of the equation. Okay, now what you have boxed from the first equation, now let's bring it down. Negative 2x minus 3. Once we have this, and a really good checkpoint, and I like to do this a lot, right? We always look for checkpoints to make sure that we're on the right place, is that our equation only has one variable. So I only see x's, right? And that's a good sign. Let me show you what that would look like what you don't want to do. So this side is wrong, okay? So if I had plugged it into the wrong spot, which a lot of us do, we plug it in here. You see how we have an x and a y? That makes the equation unsolvable. That's not what we want to do. We do not want two variables in our equation. Our checkpoint for substitution is that we should only have one variable once we're done plugging in. Once you have it plugged in, remember our steps for solving an equation. Don't call Veronica after midnight. D stands for distribute, so we are distributing, in this case, a negative 6. So let's negative 6 times negative 2x is positive 12x. Negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. And we should bring down the rest of the equation. All right, that was distribution. After distribution, we should combine like terms. So in this case, I see a negative 8x and a positive 12x combined to give us 4x. Let's bring down the rest of the equation. I always ask you guys this, how come I cannot combine 18 and 6? Because some people do. We cannot combine them because they're not on the same side of the equal sign, right? So one other suggestion I did have for those of us who struggled with that was draw a squiggly line down your equal sign. You cannot combine like terms on opposite side of the equal sign. All right, that was C. V stands for Veronica, which also means all our variables should be on the left side of our equation. So let's take a look at the right side. There are no variables there. We are good. A stands for add or subtract your constant to the right side. Okay, so we're going to minus 18 so we can get it to the other side of the equal sign and bring everything down. 4x equals 6 minus 18, or 6 plus negative 18 gives us negative 12. And then last but not least, multiply or divide by your coefficient. In this case, it is 4. We are always multiplying or dividing by the number in front of our variable. We end up getting x equals to negative 3. However, this is not our final answer because this is a system of equations. We had two variables. So I'm going to go ahead, and for me, the first equation is easier, so let me recopy that. Y equals to negative 2x minus 3. I know what x is now, so I am going to plug in. Y equals negative 2, and instead of x, we have negative 3 minus 3. You can go ahead and put this entire thing into your calculator, or if you want to test your mental math, negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Do not leave your answer like this. Remember, we always want to rewrite our final answer as a coordinate point. That means with parentheses, x and y. Our x coordinate was -3, our y coordinate was +3. Let me do one more with you. You can go ahead and pause the video here. Try to do it by yourself first. When you're ready, unpause and we will go over it together. All right, our first step again is to take a look at our two equations and identify which one has the variable that is by itself. And this time it is the second equation, okay? It's also still y, so we're going to be plugging in for our y, which means I'm going to take this top equation, -5x minus, and instead of y, let me put parentheses there, equals to -1. And now inside our parentheses, we can plug in what y was equal to, 4x plus 1. Checkpoint. Make sure you only have one variable. Looks good so far. So once we have that, remember our steps. Don't call Veronica after midnight. Don't is distribute. So let's go ahead and distribute this time a -1, even though you don't see the 1 there. That makes this into a -4x. That makes that into a -1. Let's bring everything else down. -5x equals -1. All right, after distribution, always combine like terms. I have a -5x and a -4x. -5 plus -4 gives us -9x. Let's bring everything else down. A lot of people freak out here. Okay, well, not yet. Let's get to this next one. All variables to the left side of my equal sign. If I take a look at the right side of my equal sign, there are no variables, so we are good. Let's go ahead and add or subtract our constant. Since there is a -1 here, we do want to add 1 to both sides. And we will end up getting 0. 0 is an actual number. A lot of people freak out once they get here. -9x equals to 0. Keep working. Our next one is multiply or divide by your coefficient. You're dividing by -9 on both sides and you end up getting x is equal to 0. 0 is an actual number. It's okay to get 0. A lot of us are not used to that. This is the system of equations, so we are not done. I'm going to take the easier equation. For me, that is the second equation. Y equals to 4x plus 1. And this time we know what x is, so let's go ahead and plug in for x. Y equals to 4 times something plus 1. And our x we got was 0. Again, you can plug all of this into your calculator. However, if you want to, work your brain a little bit, 4 times 0 is 0 plus 1. Y is equal to 1. And once again, do not leave your answer like this. We did all this work. Let's make sure we get all the credit. Our final answer should be written in coordinate form, where x comes first. X is 0 and y is 1. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in class. Send me an email or leave a comment here. All right. Otherwise, good luck and have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching.